You can buy an investment property with zero deposit. Heck, you can buy the house you want to live in with zero deposit, zero LMI, and be in the market years earlier than waiting to save. Here's exactly how guarantor loans work and why they're one of the smartest ways to get started, especially for my first home buyers out there. I'm an ex-banker who structured over $500 million in property financing, and guarantor loans are one of the most powerful tools for getting into property fast, especially for first-time investors or anyone who doesn't want to wait years to save a deposit. I'm going to walk you through exactly how guarantor loans work, show you a real example of a client who used one to buy her first property at 24, and explain how the guarantee isn't forever and how you can actually get your parents to release, or whoever the guarantor is, in as little as 1 to 2 years. It's not a life sentence. And I'll give you the exact steps to set this up properly. So let's get started and let's break it down. So let's say a young person wants to buy an investment property, okay, but has no deposit saved. Their parents have equity in their home, okay, and their parents guarantee part of the loan, which is usually just a deposit amount. It's not the full loan. When guaranteeing, you're not guaranteeing the whole loan amount. It's just a small percentage. And that person buys a property with zero deposit and no LMI. It can be the house they want to live in, or for an investment. The guarantor's property is used as an additional security for your loan. So the bank will lend you anywhere from 105 to 110% of the purchase price, because they've got two properties as security. You make all the repayments and your parents don't pay anything. So effectively your loan becomes the full amount, which is a purchase price, plus stamp duty and costs. You can borrow for stamp duty as well in this process. And now here's the thing. Most people think that once you're a guarantor, you're stuck forever, that your parents who have guaranteed your property are stuck and that's it. You know, they can never get their property off. It's absolutely wrong. You can get guarantors, and I've actually done it myself with our clients. We get them released anywhere from 1 to 3 years. They're effectively released off the title of that property. Because what happens is once you've paid down, so let's say you've borrowed 105%. Once you've paid down 25% of how much you've borrowed, or if your property has increased in value by that 25%, which is the most common way because it's the quickest way, then you can get your guarantors released off that loan. So if you buy your property for $1 million, okay, you fully guaranteed it, and then your property increases in value by 25%, then once it does, after that 1 year, you can have your parents completely released off the title. And that saves you years and years and years of trying to save a deposit. It gets you in the property market much sooner. So then what happens here is we do a release of security, a partial release. The bank runs valuations across your property to make sure it's increasing that value, and then we can get your parents released off the title so that now you own the property in your name with no guarantees, just in your name. Now, I'll show you a real example. One of our 24-year-olds bought a $650,000 investment property. So the parents guaranteed $130,000, which was the 20% portion. And 2 years later, the property was worth $720,000. And they had paid down their loan slightly, but what helped get the guarantor release was the fact that the property had gone up in value. So then now the daughter owns the investment property without the parents on the actual title, and the parents got their title back. And it's amazing because time in the market beats timing in market. Getting in 5 years earlier means 5 more years of growth. Because if you wait 5 years to save a $100,000 deposit, but property grows up at least 5% a year, then effectively you've lost 5% year on year capitalized growth on that property. So not only are you behind in purchasing it, you're behind in saving, but you're behind now in earning lots and lots of equity on the home that you could have purchased. All right, so I'm going to show you with real numbers and visually how this works. So this is your parents' house, or your grandparents, or whoever's doing the guarantor for you. It's worth $1 million. Pretend they have a $500,000 home loan. The bank will go up to 80% as a rule of thumb of the valuation. Okay, so they're not going to go and take out 500 and leave nothing in the property. They'll take out 80% of $1 million minus that 500. 80% of $1 million is $800,000. That's the maximum valuation they will go to. Okay, and then we have to take away that loan amount of $500,000 that your parents are owing, okay, which leaves us with available equity of $300 that we can use as a guarantor. Up to $300. That doesn't mean we need to use the full $300, but we have up to $300 to work with. Now, let's look at the house you want to buy. Let's assume your purchase price is $700,000. That's the cost of the property that you're acquiring. And I'm also going to assume that you need to borrow the full purchase price, okay, including the 20%, plus stamp duty. I'm assuming you haven't saved $1, okay? That looks like, in numbers, 20% of a $700,000 purchase price is $140,000 plus stamp duty on a $700,000 is 27. Okay, so we're totaling here 167,000 that you need as a guarantor. So then what happens? We look at your parents' property again. And how much did they have? They had $300,000 available for you to be able to guarantee, which means you're only going to use half of what they had available. Okay, just over half. So you're only going to use $167,000 of that guarantee so you can acquire and get into this property. After a year or 2 years, when your property has gone up in that value, we can effectively have your parents' property released. Okay, and then your property can be standalone without their help. And then what we can effectively do is then once you've released your parents, okay, you've let your property sit for a few more years, simultaneous to you saving, okay, still put money in the savings and park money in your offset account. Then effectively what you can do, maybe 2 or 3 years later down the track, you can leverage the equity from the home that you've built up, plus whatever you've saved in the meantime, okay, and you can buy your second property, and then you can just keep going. So you used a guarantor to get your foot in the door for your first, you've accumulated your own savings, plus your property has gone up in enough equity to A, have the guarantor release, and B, to be able to leverage some of that equity to buy your next. And then now, a few years down the track, instead of just having to save for one property, you've now got 2 properties up your sleeve, and you can just keep going. So it's an excellent tool to help you to be able to get in the door of buying your first property. So here's what you need to do if you want to use a guarantor in order to secure your next purchase. Step 1, talk to your parents or whoever's going to guarantee. Show them this video and explain they're not giving you the money. They're not actually giving you the money. They're not responsible for making the repayments. And the guarantee gets released in 1 to 3 years, which I think will be the biggest relief for them. That's not actually a life sentence to be a guarantor. Step 2, you need to work out your borrowing capacity. So whether you're buying to live in it or buying an investment to rent out, you need to know how much you can actually borrow and make sure you can service those repayments. And step 3 would be to get pre-approved with the right structure. So guarantee the minimum amount. Plan the release strategy from day 1 so you can protect your guarantor properly and they'll feel really safe and secure in helping you with this process. This is pretty much how we help our clients all the time. We get them pre-approved with the guarantor. We make sure the loan is structured properly. Okay, we minimize the guarantee to protect the guarantors. And then effectively we plan the release up front so everybody knows when it's coming off and everybody feels really comfortable and safe with the whole process. So if your parents have guarantee or family member close to you and you want to get into the property without waiting years to save, our link is in our bio if you want to have a chat with us. The way we work with our clients is we work out their borrowing capacity, okay, and structure the whole thing properly. And think about it, waiting 5 years to save $100,000 whilst missing 5 years of property growth at least 5% per year. You know, on average, it's anywhere from 6 to 7%. You've just lost at least $180,000 in equity to save and $100,000 in cash because time in the market beats waiting on the sidelines. Now, don't waste years saving when you could be building wealth today. Our link is in our bio if you want to have a chat with us. Let's get you pre-approved and help you get into our property. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe because we upload new videos every single week. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment box below.